Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video to show you how long my hair is getting, as well as show off what's in this bag, since many of you are asking. This is that TSSI med bag that I keep at home ready to go. And the premise of this is really just to not only have the ability to store supplies like this at the house, but also to grab it if I needed to. Again, this isn't like a vehicle bag. This isn't what I keep in the vehicle. I keep other stuff in there. However, this has a little bit of both first aid and trauma in it. So trauma stuff is really the most accessible on the outside. I've kind of come to the conclusion that, well, most people have, that tourniquets are important to keep right up front and accessible and easily deployable and quick, and seconds count when you're bleeding out. It's never going to lie to you, right? So our Tourniquet pouch does that. So we've got the patent pending technology on this, which has been a long process, but the Tourniquet is ready to deploy. It's also ready to apply. So I keep two of those on the outside of my bag, and then I have some shears on a retractor like that. So I can just cut something if I need to, close. If I come upon an accident and I happen to have my bag, I've got it ready to go. The TSSI bag has two main compartments, so you've got like the internal organization compartment. Actually, there's kind of three main, but I would count more this bottom section as the second. So it's got these straps that kind of help compress the bottom if you need them to, or if not, they just kind of act as get in the way, basically. But you can access this lower section here, and this is kind of where I keep kind of major bleeding bandages, so bigger stuff down here. I've got some other items too, but that bottom section, let me zip this up so I don't dump everything out, is also accessible from the inside of the bag too. So this bottom here actually accesses that same part right there. So you can get to that pocket either from the inside or from the outside if you need it to. But I think the buckles kind of get in the way and impede the quick nature of getting to this pocket. So I honestly think that it's probably easier to just open the bag up than it is to start digging in that pocket to find stuff. But anyway, I went through and replaced all these zipper pulls with our little fancy ITS pulls. But they're red, which kind of helps me know where the pockets are, because when you're looking at this sea of mesh and pockets here, it can kind of get confusing as to where the openings are to get into those. So there's really a purpose and a method behind my madness of going through and replacing all those. But each of these pockets actually pulls out. So they're on Velcro, like so. And then I've got everything kind of stored where I know where it is, and that's probably a mistake too. And I'd like some kind of labeling on these. I thought about writing with a Sharpie, but I don't know, the OCD part of me just doesn't want to do that. Really sewing on some loop Velcro for patches or something like that to identify what each of those pockets are is important, and I don't have that. So that's kind of a critique of my setup. So the top of this, in this pocket here, is kind of my smaller, I got a pulse ox meter, hand sanitizer, more of my meds type stuff. So I'm sure you remember from a previous video that I've got my repackaged meds up in the top here, and I kind of went through what all that was, and I'll make sure we link to that video just so I don't need to go through all that again. And then the next pocket here down is more like my, I would say, first aid bandages. So in here I've got things like actual bandages. So I found this a long time ago, but it's a little, I think it came with some NextCare Band-Aids, but I like the internal organization that's in this little pocket, and it's kind of a flimsy, cheap plastic, but it's done me well over the years and hasn't fallen apart yet. So a couple rolls of Durapore tape, some oral rehydration salts, and then kind of more sting relief, alcohol pads, things of that nature. I've also got triple antibiotic and burn gel and things like that, so more like kind of minor stuff. But then there's also kind of larger gauze in there as well. Hand wipes, in addition to the sanitizer we just talked about. Petroleum bandages, petroleum gauze. So this is also really good for like a sucking chest wound. Now, a chest seal is important, but if you don't have a chest seal, which I have plenty in this bag, you can also use this. But petroleum gauze is really used for burns and things like that too, so it can be really beneficial to have it around. I also got an eye dressing kit too, so eye injuries are no joke, and they happen. But I originally started this bag as kind of an aid bag for Boy Scouts. I used to volunteer with my son's Boy Scout troop, and I would take this with me every camp out so that I had something to get into and use if injuries happened. And I did have to dip into it quite a bit, but more for like Band-Aids and boo-boos and things like that. So next pocket down is more like Israelis. Got some pressure dressings in here. This is kind of like a pressure wrap, battle wrap that Combat Medical Systems makes. Had those for a while. Kind of unquestionable on the efficacy of those, but anyhow, I'm just gonna rip this out. So this is also just gauze, so individual gauze, also cravats. Got a couple of cravats in there, or triangle bandages. Also some Coban. Coban's really great for wrapping things up too, not just great on canines. Then in this pocket here, which there's a top lid, and this is where I've got all my combat gauze. I've also got other burn dressings as well as chest seals. Everything's kind of loose in here because I like just kind of grabbing, and I've never really liked that the chest seals I do have in here, the halos, are the same size as same color as the combat gauze. It kind of gets a little confusing, so I'm probably going to change that out. I've just had these in here for a while, and nothing's expired because I did go through and check on my expiration dates, but they have just been in there. And then a couple MPAs, a Sharpie, some safety pins for the cravats, a couple of chest darts, needles, a couple of oral airways, and just some kind of irrigation syringes. I've actually had this little weird one since I had my wisdom teeth removed like 10 years ago. I don't even know why I have it in there, but it kind of creates a really fine jet stream, and you can really irrigate with that really well. And no, it's not sterile, but at the same time, depending on the injury, I would grab a sterile one or I'd grab that. And then in the top here, I've just got some gloves, so this is where I keep my gloves. I've also got some face shields, a lighter, so for fusing things if I need to. But that's kind of a quick run through. I also didn't really go into this, so OI's bandage, blast bandage, SAM splint, very important. Little battle systems, MPIO, little signal flag, and then a BVM, and then a bag that I keep all my tools and utensils in. Great for removing splinters from scout fingers and toes and other things, but this is just kind of my little kit. I've also got sutures in here if I need to do that, but I really don't like to do that because even though I know what I'm doing, I'm still not a doctor, and I don't like doing invasive things unless I have to. So anyhow, that's kind of the quick dump and run through of my bag. Anyway, just kind of, if you can take something from this, think about your immediacy and what you're going to access quickly, no matter what kind of container or bag you have your supplies in. And then also just have it ready to go. So know where your supplies are. A great thing is to make sure you always are within, 3 feet of emergency supplies. So if that means stashing multiple first aid kits around your house and a couple packs of combat gauze or EDC kit, probably a smart move. So always want to be ready to grab that stuff and treat, even when you're at home or in your vehicle. So little lesson there. And then, put as many tourniquets as you like across the front. That's what our pouches are for. And you get a tourniquet, and you get a tourniquet.